next time you look at your paycheck, take a look at your payroll taxes. Hey, look, it's a helicopter museum. We're going to have helicopters flying around. Take a look at your payroll taxes. Those are supposed to go to 2 programs, Social Security and Medicare. And now, because of the president, they're being siphoned off to partially pay for Obamacare too, and we're going to stop that from happening. Yeah. We're not just going to talk about how the other guys have failed. We're not just going to talk about the miserable record of failed leadership by President Obama. We're going to offer you solutions. We're going to come together with ideas that get this economy growing and get us back on track. Let me give you 5 right now. Of all places, Pennsylvania, Marcellus Shale. We have energy in this country. Let's use the energy in this country. All of it. Coal, shale, oil, gas, nuclear, renewables, all of the above. That creates jobs. That's one idea that gets people off the unemployment line and into good paying jobs like working on the Keystone Pipeline. And we've seen how people are hurting. We have seen how big manufacturers have left our towns. That's the experience in my hometown of Janesville, Wisconsin. So when people have this happen to them, we need to have a system, good educational skills, job training benefits, to help them get the skills they need to get back on their feet and get back into a career of the 21st century. That is incredibly crucial to getting people back to work and back on their feet so they can realize their vision of the American dream. We also need to make more things in America. We need to grow more things in America. And that means we need to have trade that works for America. So that we hold those countries that are not playing fairly with us to account. China comes to mind. But let's make sure that we get agreements that work for us so we can make more things and sell them overseas and create good jobs here. Another area that is putting a huge drag on our economy, something that I spend a lot of my time working on, and it's a really simple proposal. We got to stop spending money we just don't have. We have to cut spending. We've got to get this budget deficit under control, this debt under control. Not only is this debt crisis looming on our horizon, not only is our future on the current path one just like Europe is happening, it affects our jobs today, but it gives our children, without a shadow of a doubt, a diminished future, a lower standard of living. You know, my dad used to always tell me, in this country, every generation fixes its problems so that its kids are better off. It's our duty to save the American dream for our children and their children. You know, you take a look at some of the things the president's been saying over the years, and occasionally he drops his guard. He sort of lowers the veil, and we sort of see what's going on in his mind. We see the philosophy of government that he has. You remember Joe the plumber? Yeah, so this was about 4 years ago. He said we need to spread the wealth around. It's this belief that the economy is a fixed pie, that there's just only so much money, and that it's the government's job to redistribute the slices as the government sees fit. That's not how the free economy works. That's not free enterprise. Our job is to grow the pie so everybody can get a bigger slice of the pie. That's what growth and opportunity and upward mobility are all about. You remember that one where he said, people in places like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, we cling to our guns and our religion. Hey, as a Catholic deer hunter, guilty as charged. freedom is. But the last one takes the cake. The last one's the doozy, because it reveals this idea of a government-centered society, of an economy driven by government. It reveals this idea that we need to tax more money from families and small businesses, take that money to Washington, and then spread it around to your cronies. Somebody over here mentioned Solyndra. Perfect example. Look, Republicans have been guilty of this in the past as well. Let's not forget that both political parties touched this idea of getting Washington to pick winners and losers in the economy. That's not government's job.
Correct.
That's the job of entrepreneurs. That's the job of risk takers. That's the job of hard workers. That's the job of businesses. That's what free enterprise is all about. So, when the president said, if you have a small business, you did not build that, it reveals a mindset. That business is not the product of a person's labor, of their risk, of their hard work, of their risk-taking, that it's somehow the success of government. Now, government's important, don't get me wrong. Government's necessary. But it's not the nucleus of our economy, of our society. We, the people, are.
Yeah.
And so, at a time like this, when so much is at stake, when this election is a clear choice of two visions, of two governing philosophies, of two different futures, this, of all times, is when you need a leader to get this right. I want to tell you about Mitt Romney. I want to tell you about this man. Because what moments like this need are men who are statesmen, leaders. 4 things that makes a great leader, according to basically the history books. A person with a bedrock of principles. A person with a moral compass. A person with a vision for the country and the ability to execute that vision, to put it in place. That's the Mitt Romney story. That's who this man is. That's what his life's been all about. Rarely have I seen a moment in history where the man and the moment meet so perfectly. Remember the Olympics in 1999 over in Salt Lake. Remember all those horrible stories about the corruption, the wasteful spending, the bloat? Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? What did they do? They called the guy in Boston, Mitt Romney, asked him to drop his life and come and save the Olympics and turn it around, and that's exactly what he did, and he made us proud. Look at his story of success in business. And by the way, being successful in business, that's a good thing in America. We should take pride in that. We don't resent other people's success. We want to emulate other people's success. That's the American dream. This man started businesses. This man grew businesses. Sports Authority, Bright Horizons, Staples. This man created tens of thousands of jobs. He turned around struggling businesses. This is a man who knows exactly what all this regulating does to kill jobs, what all these taxes, what the lack of an energy policy does. Mitt Romney has the experience to know with a fact that if you have a small business, you did build that. It's coming down to a key moment. It's about jobs. It's about the economy. It's about our grandkids and our kids. But it's bigger than that. It's a generation-defining moment. It's not just who's going to be the president for the next 4 years. It's what kind of country are we going to have? What kind of people are we going to be? And so when we're selecting a leader going forward, let's look at the track records. What a clear contrast. Under President Obama's failed leadership, the United States credit rating was downgraded for the first time in our history. When Mitt Romney was governor, he increased the credit rating of his state. President Obama said he'd lower unemployment to below 8%. It's been above 8% for 42 months. When Mitt Romney was governor, he lowered the unemployment rate. For the last 4 years in this country, family household income has gone down by over $4,000. When Mitt was governor, it went up by $5,000 in his home state. That's a track record of experience in leadership. But as I mentioned, it's much bigger than that. It comes down to what is the idea of this country? Is the goal and role of this country to be what it traditionally has been? To protect our natural rights? To promote equal opportunities so we can make the most of our lives? Or is it now to get these new government-granted rights? To have government equalize the results of our lives? America is not just Westchester, Pennsylvania. America is not just Janesville, Wisconsin. America is not just New York or Maine or Massachusetts or California. America is an idea. It's the only country founded on an idea. And our founders said it so beautifully. Our rights, they come from nature and God, not from government. That's the American idea. Our founders did this, they secured it, and our veterans preserved it, and we thank those veterans for doing that for us each and every generation. We understand the moment we are in. We understand the task that we have. Here is the commitment that Mitt and I are making to you. We will not duck the tough issues, and we will not kick the can. We will lead. Yeah. And we will not blame others. We will take responsibility and accountability. Thank you. My kids do too. We will not try to transform this country into something it was never intended to be. We will not replace our founding principles. We will reapply our founding principles. We know who we are. We know what we need to do. And please, if you hear anything, hear this. We can do this. We can turn this around. We can get this economy going back. We can get people back to work. We can have higher take-home pay. And we can preserve the American idea for our generation and our children's generation. Together, we're going to get this done. Thank you. Thank you, and God